You might think this is a pretty sunset, but the fact is, this is just dirt in the air from a dust storm, which was followed by a pretty impressive lightning storm later in the evening.
Fun stuff today. Typically I don't talk about work, except in abstract terms, but there's nothing secret here. Earlier in the week, it was announced by press release that our governor's office announced a deal by which all state agencies would be migrating their email and calendaring to Google Mail and Google Calendar. Obviously, this is not entirely a surprise. It's certainly something that was being considered. We knew about that. Whether or not that was ever going to come to fruition is another story. Well, it is. And, of course, they threw that out by press release. And the press release kind of made it sound like we were going to Google Mail and G Suite. Now, the distinction there is, if you don't know, G Suite is a suite of applications that basically replaces Microsoft Office. And it's done by Google on, for like Chromebooks and stuff. I hear people, actually I use it a lot for Camp Quest. We have G Suite accounts because you can get them free if you're a nonprofit. So, it's an infrastructure thing. We have calendaring and we have the mail, but we also have spreadsheets and word processing and whatnot. But the way that the press release was, it sounded like we were going to dump Microsoft Office. And not as big a problem for our agency, but I know some agencies it would be a problem. There would be things that people do in Word with macros and Excel and whatnot that would all have to be. So it's a thing. It caused some ulcers, but the intent there was to say that we were going to Google Mail, and anyway, they had a meeting today, and to talk about it and explain it to people, and they invited the CIOs, and 100 agencies, and the chief security officers and the privacy officers, and then they kind of tossed it out general to any other person that is involved in your infrastructure that might be interested. And you can imagine that there were a lot of people who were eagerly trying to get into this meeting and find out what was going on. Well, at the same time, the same people had recently let a statewide enterprise contract for Cisco's WebEx, which is an excellent platform. I'm not complaining about that. But I don't think they've been to the training yet, because we had more than 50 people in the call. We had, who knows how many people were in the room. But the rooms only hold maybe 100 if they're lucky, and they just could not get people to mute. We had people. You can see who it is too, because the way WebEx works, it pops up and it says John Smith, and their icon flashes while they're talking, and you're hearing them going, yeah, no, I can talk. Yeah, I'm just watching a web conference. Yeah, go ahead. What seems to be the problem? Yeah, no. I think you definitely need to pull up, just completely drowning out everything. And the speaker's like, excuse me, can people mute. And you're hearing people typing away, and you're hearing other people having conversations. And unfortunately, we didn't hear any people doing things. Like, who knows? I was calling in from home, and we had people who had their cameras on. Most of them were pointed at the ceilings. Which, why not just turn your camera off and save the bandwidth? It was, and then, so somebody who knew what they were doing, who was on the call, would hop into the moderator, and he kept saying, well, can you just go up to the participant menu, and there's a mute all button. And they're like, all right, we'll look around for that. And then that's the last we heard from the moderator. So for a while, we were just kind of hearing a few people typing, and it quieted down, but there was still, you could occasionally hear somebody a beep or somebody knock on a door or something, and it's still got people in, but I can't hear the moderator. And then you notice that the screen is changing. And they went 5 minutes talking without even realizing we couldn't hear them. So then the next step is everyone suddenly starting sending messages, and we cannot hear the moderator, we've been cut off. And that went on for 5 minutes or so, and then finally they sent out a message and said, well, we're sorry, technical problems, we'll reschedule the call. And then they dropped us. So, yeah. That was an exciting meeting. Technology, huh? And that's why I mentioned it. I mean, technology. WebEx is well tested. It's just, you have to be able to use it, and effectively. And that didn't work. But I'm mind boggled that all these people didn't know to mute their stinking phones. I mean, that's the first thing you do in a conference. If you don't mute your phone, I check the mute whenever I'm in a conference call. When I'm on a conference call at Camp West, when I'm on a conference call for work, when I'm on a conference call for anything. I mean, I am constantly paranoidly checking the mute button because I have a tendency to make smart-ass remarks out loud. And it's very important that I remain muted. Well, we're going into the weekend now, and so nothing really happened during the week that I haven't already told you about. So I just thought I'd mention this because it was kind of funny.
Well, we've just had food at the Halil Grill. I ate here the other day, and it was very good. I had a kebab. Today I had a chicken karahi, which sauce was just delicious. Although the chicken was the bone-in kind, where they've cut it with a hammer. So lots of little bone shards. I'm not crazy about that. I don't like it in Taiwan when they do it. Chuan can just shove it all in her mouth, chew, and then just pull the bones out, but I don't find that enjoyable. I naturally assume I'm going to choke and die. But still, good food. So pretty much I'm at the Chinese Cultural Center. They built this, I don't remember how many years ago, but about the time I met my wife. And they're planning on selling it and tearing it down and putting up something boring like more condos or strip malls or something. And that may be at the end of this month. So we've come here to do a little shopping and to try to get some pictures before it's gone. And now we're heading home.